doing kind of my recap of the privacy coin. So I started out a little while ago, I was doing videos on the privacy coins, and what I'm going to be doing now is a recap of that. And the list has grown a little bit. I'm going to be working on this collectively, over kind of maybe a weekly or bi-weekly basis of just kind of updating the lists and going through some of the privacy coins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be talking about some of the different categories. So there's roughly about 6 or 7 kind of pretty major market. I would say about $6 billion market cap coins right now with Dash, Monero, Zcash, Verge, Bitcoin, and Sia Coin. Some of the other ones have kind of moved in and out, but those are the major coins right now. And I've left the full list of the 75 coins in the description below, so you guys are welcome to check that out. And I've done a couple of comparisons, and so I wanted to go through just kind of like a comparison of some of the billion-dollar market cap coins that I mentioned. And so this is Dash, Monero, Verge, and Zcash. So these are, I would say 4 of the largest privacy coins, kind of get some of the most attention. You can kind of see over the last 3 months some of the progress that we've seen with Verge has really overshadowed the other 3. And then it's, as we were kind of getting into February here, you can see prices leveled out a little bit, and Verge is, up 561% from where it was 3 months ago. And these are, I think, interesting things to document. And so I've left the link to this comparison in the description below, so you guys are welcome to check that out. Looking at some of the other coins, we have Pivx, we have Komodo, we have Enigma, and Aeon. And so basically what we're doing, good morning Vietnam, yeah. So what we're doing here is looking at the progress of the last 3 months. And so you can kind of see, I'm not sure why it does that on the charting right there, but you can see Aeon was one of the better performing coins. All of the other ones are pretty much down, right in this kind of December time period. And in early January, you saw them all kind of really take off, come into the positive, with Enigma and Aeon really doing pretty well. Things have kind of leveled out here, and you can kind of see that right now, Pivx at 30%, Komodo at 46%, and whatnot. These are the next 4 I wanted to take a look at, so I'm going to be trying to go in order here. Particle, Smart Cash, Navcoin, and MadeSafe. MadeSafe has been one that's been around a long time, so it has a lot of market history. It's a pretty stable coin, but you can see, over here, Smart Cash was really the one that was up big back in kind of mid-January. It's since come down. But seeing as how these have done over the last 3 months, MadeSafe is down a little bit. Part of that is, it's been around for so long. It's, that's kind of where it's at. But Navcoin at 68% and Particle at 130%. Looking at Cloak Coin, Deep Onion, Crave Coin, and Digital Price. Looking at the comparison here, you can see again, this time frame. What's going on, Steve? Digital Price, Deep Onion, Crave Coin, and Cloak. You can kind of see how they've performed here. 373, 357. So Crave Coin is down 70% from where it was 3 months ago. So it's actually lost quite a bit of value. And then taking a look at these next 4, Aeon, Spectra, Pura, and Stealth Coin. So you can see that, Spectra came up quite a bit, 1,037% back in January from a 3-month time period, and it's still remaining pretty high, 404%. What's going on, Diddy? And then the last one I wanted to take a look at, I'm going to talk about this a little bit first, was the Bitcoin private fork that we're having coming up. And so what that is you have Zcash was kind of the original kind of privacy coin, and they had some things where they had let's see if I can explain this right. They had they have founders. They have like a founders tax. So basically, they had 20% of the rewards of the first 4 years control of the Zcash spending supply. They had like a founder's tax for that. I'm not really sure how that works, but basically some of the people that originally worked into the Zcash project benefit from it doing well. And so you had Z Classic was one that basically forked from Zcash and was claiming itself to be one that that doesn't necessarily apply, and it's more of a, I guess, a cleaner form of the coin. And then what you had was Zencash forked from Z Classic, and so Zencash was one that, even though it's kind of like a third generation clone of this coin, it's one that's being traded in Bittrex, Cryptopia, OKEX, some major exchanges, Upbit, and it's doing some different volume here. But you can see that this fork, at $137, $37 price right now. Z Classic, which has surged tremendously, kind of looking at just the market with Z Classic here in the last 3 months, it's really come up. And part of this was kind of the news of the fork. I'm not sure exactly when it had come in, but it looks like that a lot of the news that I was reading was kind of right in this January-February timeframe, which was giving it a real high valuation here. And you've seen it really kind of surge here in the last week or so. Just zooming into the last week, it's really been on an upward trend. A lot of volume has come into the market. I think people are preparing to get into the Z Classic so they can claim their Bitcoin private. They have a Twitter page here, so you can kind of see. So this project is kind of interesting. When I was taking a little bit of a deeper look into it, it's going to be branded as BTCP. So you have this is a coin that's it's really branding itself on privacy. This is kind of another article that talks a little bit more about some of the price performance of Z Classic, and it's a good read. There's a few different things I've just kind of been searching on, but I think it's interesting to see these different forks of this privacy coin. One of the privacy coins that's been around the longest. If you're taking a look at Zcash, I'm taking a look at its market history. I mean, this one is it's dating back to 2016. It looks like, at least in the charting here. This one has been trading pretty heavily in China and whatnot. But as you can see here, the top trending pair is Huobi at about 17 million in that exchange. If you're taking a look at Z Classic and you're looking at the markets, it's got 39 million in Bittrex, which is it's interesting to see that there's more trading going on with Z Classic in some of these markets than its predecessor Zcash, and that has a lot to do with everyone kind of wanting to get into this project. But I think that's an interesting element to it, and it kind of it draws a little bit more interest into the privacy coins in general, and I think that that's going to be something we're going to be seeing in 2017 is more people getting into projects like these. There's a learning curve, and there's some things that I want to start diving into on these streams. So as I'm doing these kind of updates from time to time, I'm going to be updating the list. I'm going to be doing a little bit more in-depth analysis. I'm interested in some of the difficulty algorithms that some of the coins are based on. So Zcash, Z Classic, these are all coins that are based on the SHA 256 difficulty algorithm, which is the same algorithm that Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash compete on. So there's an elements to the mining and the minting of new coins, and basically the transactions and whatnot. And there's a lot of these other coins. There's some of you're seeing some of the same things. They Monero runs on CryptoNight, and there's several other coins that run on that same difficulty algorithm. So Bytecoin would be another one. There's a few others, Electronium, and some of the Dash forks. There's several There's several coins that have masternodes. I'm still looking into the privacy element of them. Like I know that you can have some privacy built into some of the projects that you're doing, and there's different ways of doing that. That gets a lot more technical when you start getting into that. I mean, what I'm trying to do is, from an overall perspective, is really just kind of see where I'm seeing coins that are branded as privacy coins, and that's kind of a main element to what they're presenting on their website and in their white paper. If I'm searching for private and anonymous and I don't find anything, that doesn't really tell me that that's really the aim of the coin. And there's a lot of these coins that you are able to really kind of dig into the blockchain a little bit with the blockchain explorer. So I'm going to be doing more updates on this and giving you guys some of my perspectives, but wanted to just give you guys a quick video on kind of what I've found. I would encourage you guys to take a look at the list that I've created below and start getting into some of the different exchanges. I've left links for some of the exchanges below. What I try to do is, like, say I see a coin, like I want to get into Z Classic. You know, I know it's forking. I know there's an opportunity. You know, I'm looking at Bittrex. I'm looking at Cryptopia. I'm looking at Coin Exchange. I see those as 3 exchanges that where you can basically there's a lot of opportunity here as well. So if we're looking at the Bitcoin pricing, Cryptopia right now is selling for the highest. I mean, this is 0.0217. I kind of like to look at like a 4-digit number so I can kind of get a point of reference, and you can see that it's trading in Bittrex a lot lower. So 0.191. So there's a good arbitrage opportunity here. If you're taking a look at the exchanges, that might play out over time where maybe you're not seeing as much of that price discrepancy. But there's ways to get into some of these coins. So I'm looking at this coin and I'm trying to get into the market with the cheapest price. So what I'll do is I'll go into Bittrex and I'll take a look. I mean, we can see if I have it pulled up here. Let's see how accurate the pricing is on that. Usually it's pretty close. I haven't touched this account in a while, so it might take a second for it to come up. There we go. Okay. So you can see Z Classic here actually dipped here just recently. But you can see this recent rise, that we've had, this pricing push. But 0.181, we were seeing 191. So probably was pretty close, if it wasn't for this just recent dip that we've had. So good buy-in time to get into Z Classic. Checking with the chat a little bit. It's middle of the night in the States, so I was curious to see if we had any night owls on. Yeah, I need to do an in-depth review of Deep Onion. I've touched on it a little bit. I want to get a little bit more into the inner workings of some of these coins. So that's one that's been highly requested on my channel. So I'm going to take a much more in-depth look in that coin. Bitcoin fork coming soon also? Okay, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, 5:20 a.m. E-Rolly ICO. Let me look into that. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Let's take a look. 2:24 p.m. Getting some more Europeans maybe on. Let's see here. This is anonymous payment method. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Like I'm taking a look at these projects, these websites, I'm seeing anonymous payment, I'm seeing a privacy coin. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of, does this classify as a privacy coin and does it add to the list? But yeah, it looks like a good one. So I'll have to add it to the list. Thank you. And then, you know, the list is kind of a way for you guys to take a look. Initially, what I did was I put in links to take a look at the market. It was just too much text and it didn't really come through good. So I'm just leaving the links to the actual websites so that you can take a look at the coins. So if you see a few coins, I would, you know, encourage you to take, you know, if you can afford it, you know, take a Bitcoin and split it up, you know, 10 ways, 20 ways. And throw it at a lot of these different privacy coins in the different markets that you're getting the best rates. So like right now I was showing you, if you want to get into Z Classic, a good one to get into would be Bittrex, because that's the lowest pricing we're seeing. If you get into another coin, that would you want to take a look at the markets, find a good entry point. If you don't have an account with that exchange, you can click on the links below and set up an account. And I would encourage you guys also to take a look at some of those exchanges. It gives you a lot of flexibility when you're getting into a lot of different coins. And that's going to be the big thing that I'm going to be looking at adding to this channel, is giving you guys an opportunity to get into a lot of different exchanges, a lot of different coins, really diversifying. And that's going to be your best strategy for this year moving forward. So we don't have a whole lot of people on, so this is, I think I might take a few more questions and probably keep these streams fairly short, at around like, you know, somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, but I'm not gonna go through all the different, you know, individual coins like I did last time. I think I spent a lot more time kind of going into the different websites and showing you guys some more of the different coins. I might do that with a select few. I haven't really been looking at, you know, too much, but the big thing I wanted to show was the comparison charts. One of the things I did want to show you guys was the comparison charts of Bitcoin, Zcash, Z Classic, and Zcash. So those were the ones that I was talking about, you know, before. And so you can see this big rise that we had seen with Z Classic, where it had just really come up here in January with the news of the fork that was coming out. A lot of people getting into this coin right now. You can see just not a whole lot of growth in the other ones. If we're taking, you know, Bitcoin as a, you know, as the, you know, pinpoint of how we're evaluating these, Zcash is up 16%, Zcash up 28%, and Z Classic is way up 6,087%. So it's really performed pretty well. So tomorrow I'm going to be going a little bit more in depth into some of the exchanges and giving you guys a little bit more of a breakdown on some of those and kind of where I see some different opportunities and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of keep this stream short. Be sure to check out all the different information I've left in the description below. And I'll take this one last question. What do you think of the latest Deep Onion updates? The Tor 0.3.3, OBF S4 Meek, and Stealth addresses, now testnet. Okay, I'll have to take a look into some of those. But yeah, I'm interested in taking a look a little bit more into the inner workings of those. I know that the OBFS like protocols, looking at that a little bit. Like I was hearing a few different things on the way that worked and integrated with the browser. So I'm getting into that a little bit more. I don't use, like I use Tor for some things, but I don't necessarily use it for everything because it does tend to slow down the traffic. For private things, the things you want to keep private is important, especially if you're doing things in exchanges. But it's not necessarily if you have your security set up right, where you know, you have like at least, you know, two-factor authentication, or you have, you know, a few other things that It's probably better to get into some of the exchanges outside of the Tor browser because it just performs faster and you're not dealing with as much hiccups. It depends on your internet connection, depends on your computer setup. That's always a little bit different for everyone, but I know that's one thing that I have experienced is a little bit of a slowdown when you start getting into the privacy browsers. And so if you're trying to transact or you're trying to do things a little bit faster, I think I'm gonna call it a stream. So be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.